Hello! Bienvenue à la VIICTIIMINUTE du 24 novembre 2020. En manchette pour la VIICTIIMINUTE d'aujourd'hui, c'est une autre quick VIICTIIMINUTE, malheureusement. Encore une fois, comme je l'ai prédit dans le dernier épisode, c'est la semaine du Thanksgiving, fait qu'il n'y a pas grand nouvelle dans le lot. Mais on parle de Cyberpunk ce matin. Il y a une vidéo de IGN qui a été postée où est-ce que c'est le gars justement qui a fait le preview qu'on a regardé la semaine dernière. Il répond aux questions que les gens lui ont envoyées, fait que les questions les plus fréquentes. Fait qu'on regarde ça. Également, CD Projekt Red ont annoncé comme quoi qu'il y a un mode où est-ce que tu peux désactiver tout ce qui est nudité dans le jeu. Fait que si tu veux pas voir des cyber titties, man, tu peux tout désactiver ça dans Cyberpunk. Sinon, IO Interactive ont montré un nouveau endroit, un nouvel endroit pour Hitman 3. That game looks good, man. That game looks really fucking good. Puis on a plus de drama concernant Nintendo et la communauté de Smash. Il y a un gros thread qui est sorti sur Twitter hier d'un utilisateur anonyme qui explique tout ce que Nintendo a fait pour mettre des barrières dans les roues de la communauté de Smash. Fait que c'est ça en gros, man. Fait que encore une fois, merci du support du show. J'espère que je vous entertain malgré les slow news day qu'on a devant nous. But that's what I do, man. Fait que enjoy the episode et on se voit demain. Actualité. The ball is in Sony's court. Just fucking announce the stuff, please. Critique. En tout cas, le user score sur Metacritic est à 2.6. Rumeur. I don't know. I'm just sharing this on the internet. Discussion. C'est pas n'importe quel jeu là, c'est fucking Halo, ok? Réaction. Nintendo, what the fuck are you doing? La VIICTIIMINUTE avec Victim. En manchette pour la VIICTIIMINUTE du 24 novembre 2020. Hey, tu peux toggle off la nudité dans Cyberpunk 2077. Fait que si t'es quelqu'un, t'es un snowflake qui est comme je veux pas voir de tits ou de junk ou de whatever, ben CD Projekt Red ont fait en sorte que tu peux disable toute forme de nudité dans le jeu. Puis une autre affaire qui est sortie, c'est comme quoi que un des devs du jeu a dépensé 175 heures de playtime. Fait que jouer 175 heures au jeu, et il a toujours pas fini. Fait que le monde qui justement veut un jeu où est-ce que tu t'investis longtemps, ben Cyberpunk promet d'être ce genre de jeu. Cyberpunk 2077, we have the best options menu. Okay, we get it. Fait que c'est ça, fait que Twisted Voxel Report. Cyberpunk 2077 dev confirms toggle to turn off nudity shows 175 hours playtime, but still not done. I want to see those cyber tits. That's the whole point of the game. Exactement. I want to see some tits. I want to see some ass. I want to see some dicks. Dick and balls. Let's go. Pour vrai, je pense au toggle. Je suis une chaîne tout âge unique. Genre, c'est un hommage. Just fucking embrace it. Est-ce que pensez-vous que Twitch va mettre genre des mesures en place pour tout ça, là, tout ce qui est restriction? Si tu enlèves le stream, tu enlèves tout, c'est des totons de jeu, on s'en fout. Mais tu sais, tu peux avoir des totons, I guess, sur GTA. Mais là, c'est Cyberpunk. Je pense que ça va être plus raw. Il y a de la nudité dans Witcher, me semble, puis c'était pas permis sur le site. Ok? Je sais que. Moi, je me souviens d'un clip en particulier avec XQC où est-ce qu'il joue à Heavy Rain, puis qu'il essaie de cacher les titties de la madame à un moment donné. Faudrait qu'il y ait des guidelines de Twitch. Il y en avait aussi un peu dans Assassin's Creed Origin. T'es dans un bordel, je m'y attendais pas en stream. J'ai logged down sur le jeu. Mais c'est vrai, CMS apporte un bon point justement. Il y a beaucoup de features que Cyberpunk amène pour tout ce qui est création de contenu. On l'a vu la semaine passée avec le fait qu'on peut désactiver les tunes qui ont des droits d'auteur pour justement pas se faire DMCA. Puis là justement avec la nudité. Fait que, I mean, c'est cool stuff. Ils pensent au moins. Je pense que CD Projekt Red savent que le jeu est gros. Le jeu va être. Va avoir un gros hype justement en termes de création de contenu. Puis de Twitch. Je m'attends à ce que Cyberpunk soit un jeu qui pogne quand même relativement longtemps sur Twitch. Je sais pas pour vous, là, mais vu que c'est un RPG qu'il faut que tu investisses beaucoup de temps, c'est soit que le monde va se désintéresser totalement parce que ils sont occupés à jouer de leur bord, ou qu'il va y avoir... Je pense qu'il va y avoir comme une era de Cyberpunk streamers. Yeah, comme un peu GTA RP. Ou soit c'est le prochain Skyrim aussi. When interacting with in-game nudity or sexual content in a permitted game, users may only spend as much time as it is required to progress through the game. Ok. Ça, c'est des TOS de Twitch, Silent Owl. Ouais, c'est ici. Ok, cool. Fait que, justement. Fait que la nudité est tolérée tant et aussi longtemps que tu focuses pas là-dessus. Fait que ça, on est l'article. Cyberpunk 2077 QA lead Lucas Babiel has shared some information on the game's feature, revealing a toggle for nudity and showing he spent 175 hours in the game. According to CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077 will offer a shorter main story than The Witcher. This doesn't mean that there is not a lot to play in the game, at least as per the QA lead Lucas Babiel, who shared a screenshot revealing his total playtime. Lucas was apparently playing the Nomad Life Path, which was leaked in a recent gameplay video along with footage from the PS4. How it started. Nomad, okay. Total playtime, 175 heures. Damn, c'est beaucoup d'heures. A lot of hours. Interestingly, the QA lead started his playthrough on PC and then moved it to Xbox One. Of course, this doesn't imply cross-save functionality, but it shows that the developers have tools available that can help them transfer save files across different platforms. Interesting. Peut-être qu'on va avoir une fonction crossplay disponible. Ou cross-save plutôt, pas cross... Ben peut-être crossplay avec le multijoueur. That could be a thing. Mais peut-être un cross-save down the road pour Cyberpunk. Fait que si tu veux, justement, tu joues sur ton ordi, tu veux transférer ça sur ta Xbox Series X dans ton salon, admettons. Boom. Easy does it. If you thought this means he will be done with the game, there is still some content that is left. One user asked him if he has done everything that the game has to offer, and he simply replied with a nope. There will be a lot of nudity and sexual content in Cyberpunk 2077. If you are one of the folks who don't want to see it, there will be a toggle to turn off nudity in the game as confirmed by the QA lead. Lastly, it was revealed that those who want to play using different life paths will have an easier time distinguishing the save files because they will be marked with the life path. Okay. Cyberpunk 2077 was originally set to launch on November 19th, but it was delayed to December. Blah blah blah. We already know the gist of it. Fait que cool. Fait que nice little feature. Puis on savait déjà d'avance que Cyberpunk promettait d'avoir beaucoup de contenu, mais là on vient d'avoir la preuve. 175 heures. Cela étant dit, parlant de Cyberpunk, IGN ont sorti une excellente vidéo. 11 Burning Questions Answered. Fait comme vous savez, la semaine dernière, suite au Night City Wire 5, on a écouté le preview de IGN, mais là ils ont fait une vidéo spécifiquement sur des questions spécifiques par rapport à Cyberpunk 2077. J'ai écouté un peu du vidéo hier, puis some good shit. Fait qu'on va l'écouter pour justement ceux qui se posent encore des questions sur le jeu. Yeah.
Hello everybody, Tom from IGN here, and earlier this week I got to play a whopping 16 hours of Cyberpunk 2077. I put out a full preview of that,
and he jinxed it.
But I also wanted to see what your guys' burning questions were that I didn't necessarily answer in that preview. So we put out a call on Twitter and on YouTube, and we took your questions, the most popular ones, the most frequently asked ones, and I'm gonna try to answer what I can.
La musique, man. I'm vibing.
Kicking things right off, probably the most popular question we got was, what is driving like in the game? That's not really something I talked about during the preview itself, but it's a totally fair question because you are going to spend a lot of time driving around Night City, and it just didn't sort of strike me as very notable, I guess, is my impressions of it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like, you know, Gran Turismo. You're not going to... It doesn't feel like a crazy, crazy driving game or anything like that, but it felt smooth enough. I enjoyed just kind of seeing the sights, the interiors of cars and the looks of cars are really, really immaculately detailed. Notably, I spent most of my time driving cars in third person and then motorcycles in first person, and that's mostly a personal preference. Like, I don't really like driving in most games in first person, but motorcycles, I felt like I actually really, really loved driving motorcycles even more than cars in this game because they were so agile, right? Like, you could get through little spots, you could go through twists and turns, you could weave in and out of people, and because Night City is a very dense city full of lots of roads,
le jeu va tellement être lourd.
Taking a lot of turns. Bilal DevTech on Twitter specifically asked if the driving felt slow because it apparently looked slow in some of the gameplay previews. Some of the earlier worse cars you drive are definitely slower, but at one point I stole a really, really high-end sports car, and that was going much, much faster in a much more noticeable way.
Hey! People have waited a long time. What are the streets? Are the streets as empty as they seem?
The question we got on YouTube was that from some of the gameplay videos out there, the world looked very empty, that there weren't many people in it, there wasn't much stuff around. And that's something I think I probably only comes across in like the gameplay trailer. When I was playing the game, it felt like there were a lot of people, especially when you're walking around busy sort of market areas. It really, really feels like a populated world. That wasn't really a concern of mine. When you're moving faster, and especially in certain areas like the outskirt areas, when you're kind of getting out of Night City proper, those areas definitely are less populated, but that's also the flip side, where you're going to see, you know, a lot more nature, a lot more cactuses and plants and that sort of thing. It's pretty cool how much the neighborhoods like that can feel diverse from each other. I liked that part. And so no, I wouldn't say that the world felt empty in my experience, especially in some of the shopping kind of market areas. There's a lot of stalls. I will say I was surprised at how few of those stalls, like food stalls and that sort of thing, were actually interactable. There's only some very specific ones that are actual shops, and then there's a lot that are just there to kind of be set dressing. That was a little bit disappointing. It made the world feel a little bit less interactive, but I wouldn't describe it as empty by any means.
C'est des knickknacks, là, ces complaints.
A very popular question from our YouTube was from Daniel Harrison, who asked, how dense would you say the verticality is to this game, i.e. how many of those skyscrapers are explorable?
Verticality.
That was similar to another question from Adam Garcia, who also asked how many interiors are accessible, buildings...
The NPC decor, yeah.
And this is maybe going to be like, sound like a disappointing answer, but I don't
how
think
dense?
It's disappointing in practice. Is it?
Qui genre voit du footage de Cyberpunk qui est comme, hey, tu peux explorer toutes les buildings, genre shit.
Well, which is not many of them, right? I think there's this perception that maybe this is one of those games that it's not a huge open world. It's big, but it's not like as massive as some other RPGs. But there's all these buildings, there's all these places you can go. Most of the buildings, like in many city games, are not actually enterable at any time. And similarly, when you get in an elevator to go up to a certain floor on a skyscraper, like your home,
I feel like it's not too much.
For example, in the skyscraper where your apartment is, you usually only have like one or two button options in terms of floors you can actually go to at a given time, right? This is not going to be a game where you can go into absolutely every building, see absolutely every floor. But
je pense que c'est ça le vidéo, c'est vraiment beaucoup plus de cherry picking. I don't really see that
as like a terrible thing, is because A, like, what would you be doing in all those buildings with no reason to go?
Just enjoy the game that took 100 years to make.
And B, I did find a lot of locked doors that were like,
oh damn, mes pantalons, man, ils disparaissent à cause du scroll.
So the advantage of the verticality and kind of the scope of Night City is not just, oh, you can go into every building, but, oh, a quest can send you into any building, right? That's a very important distinction, is that you can get a quest that sends you into a building you've never been in that was 2 blocks down from where you started the game, and suddenly it's a completely fresh area and familiar territory.
How is the melee?
Another common question we got was about Melee, which I didn't talk about much in my preview. L Game on YouTube asked, how is the Melee?
Melee is dying because of Nintendo, dumbass!
And Blake James also asked, how is Melee combat, katanas, etc. Melee is okay, right? It's not...
Save Melee.
In my preview, combat wasn't exactly the thing that blew me away anyway, and I think Melee kind of just like folds into that. It was really fun. I did find a katana at one point, and it was extremely fun to put some points into perks that were higher melee damage, get some cyber augments that gave me more armor, you know, that sort of thing, and just run into the fray and start cutting people up. That was really, really fun. The melee system itself is actually fairly sort of simple, right? It's got
oh, damn, vous avez parti des hashtags.
Attack to break guards, and then you
ah non, je l'ai plus loin.
Press guard right when you get hit, right when you get hit, you do a kind of counter punch. So there's that sort of the building blocks of that there, and there are these bare knuckle boxing sort of side quest fights to play with that stuff. I think the tools are definitely there to make melee a playstyle if you want to lean into that, right? They have a lot of options, just like they do with a lot of things in this game, to support different playstyles.
C'est un comparison video,
It's not deep enough in what I played in the first 16 hours to make me want to only go melee, but that might differ for you. Another common question we got was about life paths. Specifically, Jack Jones asked, how significant is your life path choice? And Sloan asked, how often do you wonder how different the story would be if you had chosen a different path?
Bonne question ça, puis ça vient de me faire sonner une cloche. Chat, est-ce que vous pensez que Cyberpunk ça va être un jeu où est-ce que vous allez être motivé à faire plusieurs personnages puis plusieurs playthroughs? Parce que déjà là, c'est un jeu où il faut que tu investis calissement du temps à la base. Là, es-tu prêt à investir du temps pour avoir des différents choix ou des différents life paths, justement? Tu penses que oui, Nashi? One good, one bad comme Skyrim buff. Les gens jouent encore à Skyrim today. Depends on the storyline, I'd say. Ouais. Ben oui! Moi, j'ai pas fait The Witcher plus qu'une fois, mais du monde l'ont fait plusieurs fois. Single playthrough, ça donne plusieurs playthroughs. Fait que toi, Méo, tu vas le faire plusieurs fois. Skyrim, tuer tout le monde, c'est le fun. Ah, moi, je serais du genre à faire one playthrough puis I'm done, là. J'ai pas assez de temps à investir. Beaucoup de monde vont faire les trois. OK.
I think this is a great question. You get to choose one of 3 life paths at the beginning.
Yeah, c'est ça, The River, j'ai dit que je sais pas si t'étais là quand je l'ai mentionné, mais je m'en vais chercher le paquet tantôt.
The life path determines the very, very, very beginning of the game. You kind of get a very customized intro. And then the feeling I got from after that, and obviously I haven't played through the whole game, so I don't know the major impacts if it comes into play later, if other stuff differs later. But basically, what it was is that I then got different unique dialogue choices for that life path. So I went with the Corpo life path, and essentially what that did is anytime I was talking to suits, right, talking to like higher up corporation people, it made those conversations extremely easy for me. And not in like a bad way. It was like, oh, I knew exactly, my character was from this world, and I knew exactly what to say in that situation to kind of smooth the wheels a little bit, grease the wheels, and that was really cool to see that in action.
Wheels.
I really do wonder, and to answer Sloan's question,
yes, demain pendant le pre-show.
Like, if I wasn't the Corpo life path, some of those conversations would have gone really, really differently for me. If I had chosen the Street Kid life path, though, like maybe I would have, you know, had those types of moments, but for other parts of the game. So I think there is a lot of flexibility there, but also I don't think that it's the type of thing where like it's gonna be 3 different games depending on what life path you choose.
Sure, c'est quand même vrai, Méo. Tu sais, y'en a qui achètent un jeu puis.
Balaji Asari on YouTube asked, how does character customization have an impact on the game/gameplay considering it's a first-person perspective game? This is a fun question because the answer is not a whole ton. This is specifically, at least with when it comes to cosmetic customization. I kind of jokingly said this to some people before earlier in the week, but essentially make sure you're happy with your fingernail choice. There are a lot of fingernail options, and that's what you're going to probably be seeing most.
Je mets mes fingernails. Wow.
Because there are no, you know, cutscenes where you're seeing your character in third person or things like that. I did see my character every time I open the menu when you're equipping things, right? And you do see your character if you're driving in third person.
Hey, ça c'est whack. J'écoute pas Occupation Double, là. S'il y a quelqu'un qui peut comme me faire le TLDR de qu'est-ce qui se passe avec Jade Temple, mais apparemment ils veulent le remplacer parce qu'il a remis quelqu'un à sa place dans Occupation Double. Est-ce que le monde il pique sur des petites affaires là? Caroline. Man, shout out à Jade Temple qui, man, il porte des robes, se met du nail thingy ses ongles. J'ai jamais entendu ça. J'ai vu un headline hier sur Facebook comme quoi qu'il voulait remplacer Jade Stamp. Puis j'écoute tout le temps OD. Yeah, mais apparemment, il a remis quelqu'un. En tout cas, je sais peut-être que je dis n'importe quoi, là, je me fie sur le headline. Là. Il y a une pétition de plus de 1000. C'est ça, pour que Marilyn Jonca, ça, j'ai vu. Je le sais, Alexis, sur Facebook, mais quand même. C'est sa job de rentrer dans le monde. C'est la dernière année qu'il anime OD de toute façon. Ah, pour vrai? Damn. Il est nice, j'ai du temple. Mais respect à j'ai du temple.
Occasionally you look in mirrors, things like that. But by and large, you should
yes,
also sweat
snowflakes.
or the character look customization a whole ton because they give you a lot of choice. It's really cool. It's a very cool character customizer, but yeah, you're not going to be seeing much more than your hands most of the time.
J'aime pas son humour, but he seems like a nice guy, yeah. Oh, what's the class system like?
Jessica Star on Twitter says, I'd like to ask about the class system. How much can you multi-class? Did you see respec options or perks, skills that feel game-changing versus just percentage increases? Yeah, these are all really important things that I didn't have a ton of time to touch on, and also I didn't get a ton of time to dig too deeply into in my 16 hours because this is a deep game.
Dude.
To be clear, there's not really a class system, right? You don't pick, you know,
warrior
or hacker or whatever. You just sort of pick the attributes that you want and then you focus on upgrading perks in that way. The thing I really liked about the system is that it was extraordinarily flexible.
Man, that soundtrack,
like,
je sais pas si c'est la soundtrack de Cyberpunk, mais goddamn.
Physical body, right? The stat called body. Then I realized kind of halfway through the game, like, oh man, I'm really hacking a lot. I'm really enjoying that. Your perks for hacking get experience points for that just by doing that thing. So even if you're not speccing into that skill, or you hadn't previously been, you're still rewarded for using it in a way that then empowers those skills more, and then you can start putting more attributes points into it and unlock more skills and stuff. So it's very, very flexible in terms of if you want to be a big burly dude who also hacks a lot, or a really stealthy person who uses melee weapons, like there's a lot of opportunity to mix all those attributes and perks together. And also, yes, I did think that there were, you know, it's a healthy mix of percentage increase perks and really cool new things. Like the cool stat has a perk that you can unlock called Cold-Blooded that gives you a buff that every time you kill someone, it gets a buff, and then you can increase that perk to have more stacks of that buff as you chain kills together, and then you can also increase what that perk or that buff actually does. So maybe it'll increase damage or reload speed or things like that, and you can. So there's cooler choices where it's like, that's both statistic improvements, simple stuff, but also it's a pretty cool new thing that is tangibly different given to you if you decide to go into that tree. Alexander Almas on YouTube asked, you seem unimpressed with the gunplay. Can you speak on more why you felt that way besides
Parce que c'est un RPG.
This is something I alluded to earlier. It's a little bit of a tricky thing to explain because it's a lot due to feel. Like, I felt like the weapons were just kind of fine early on, right? Like, they were pretty high recoil. It felt like enemies were pretty bullet spongy, could take a lot of hits, and there wasn't just a lot to wow me. What I will say is that and I do mention this in my preview, as I got deeper into that system, I started unlocking new abilities, new augments, new weapons that were kind of changing it up so that it was less just like a first-person shooter. I think when you're just comparing,
ça c'est nice que tu peux tirer n'importe où puis les bullets
it is an underwhelming sort of gunplay. It's fine, it's fun, it's just not like doing anything to blow you away. So yeah, it's all those little things of just sort of like how it felt, kind of how quickly I was taking damage. I had to retreat and heal. But then as you get more empowered, those things started to sort of go away. So this is one where I can't make a final determination on yet. You really got to play the whole game or more of the game to figure it out, I think. Michael on Twitter asked, what's the difficulty like? This is a really good question. There were 4 difficulty options that I saw, going from basically story mode, where it's just super, super easy. I played on normal, which is the second from the highest, basically hard above it. And it was challenging at times. It really was. You got to be smart about how you play. This being an RPG, you're going to be quick saving a lot. I was saving before absolutely every single fight. There's going to be some save scumming involved there for some people, for sure, because it's easy to get overwhelmed and it's easy to make a mistake, or just kind of get caught off guard and get killed, and you got to reload a checkpoint. That said, this also depends a lot on what sort of missions you're on, right? Because every mission has different levels, and so if you go into an area of Night City and start taking on gang members that are listed as a very high danger level on the map, you're probably gonna get your butt kicked. And there are these enemies that are marked literally with a skull that are just like, this is too high a level for you, don't go near them, and they'll whoop you, really. But if you're sticking to, you know, more lower level guys, or you're focusing on things that are within your level,
YOLO, je viens d'écrire à CD Projekt Red, pas d'attente, je veux pas raid dessus.
Scattered all over Night City, and if you just sort of jump into a random little one here and there, those skirmishes can go by pretty quick and be pretty simple.
T'as-tu joué à Valhalla? T'as dit que t'avais reçu une clé.
As you level up and deeper into the game and that sort of thing, I can't say I only got 16 hours in to what feels like a very, very large RPG, but at least early on, it feels like there's a good mix of some easier missions and some pretty challenging stuff that's going to have you, you know, saving often and being smart about how you play.
Mais stream, Alexis. Wait, c'était quoi la question? How slow compared to Red Dead Redemption 2? Ooh.
Shawshank Saxena on YouTube asked, you told us to temper expectations and that the game is a slow burn. How would you compare it to Red Dead Redemption 2? Now, I'm going to say something controversial right away, which is I didn't really enjoy Red Dead Redemption 2 very much. I thought it was a beautiful game. I thought it was a technically impressive game. I thought it was way too slow and just kind of tedious in a lot of its activities.
That's how I feel about Red Dead again, man.
This does not feel like that to me. This feels slow like an RPG feels slow, right? Anybody who's played maybe, and this is going to be a weird comparison given Cyberpunk looks like a first-person shooter, but anybody who's played something like Divinity 1, right? You're stuck in that first town for something like 4 hours before you even leave it to fight your first zombie. That's a slow-paced RPG. And I'm not saying Cyberpunk is that slow, because I think even that was a little too slow, but it's a different thing than Red Dead Redemption 2's slowness, where it kind of made you just move very slow and the things you were doing were very deliberate. It's not that it feels like it has that sort of deliberate, this is the pace it wants you to go at. It's just that the focus isn't always on action, is what I meant.
Merci de follow, Zafox.
Focus isn't always on getting gunfights, go crazy, shoot people, like you would think from a first-person shooter in this future.
Je trouve que le pace, c'est magique.
It feels like an RPG, and it comes with the pace that you would expect from an RPG. And that's all I meant by tempering expectations in that regard.
Il y a des bouts où j'avais l'impression de m'endormir à Red Dead.
And finally, a quick one I wanted to hit was from House of Tides on YouTube, who asked,
hard questions like
endgame Skyrim-esque Radiant Quest content that repeats, continues, and is sort of infinitely replayable after the main story, that sort of thing. This is a great question. I just didn't want to leave it hanging, but I don't know. 16 hours in is hard to tell in what is probably going to be a very, very large RPG. I didn't see any immediate indication of that sort of thing, but obviously I was very, very early on, so you know, we'll have to see when the final thing comes out. But I hope I hit your questions. Thank you very much to everyone who sent them in to us. This was a lot of fun. It's a different format. Let us know in the comments if you liked it. And be sure to check out our actual final preview if you want my in-depth, curated thoughts on what it was like to play 16 hours of Cyberpunk 2077. And for everything else gaming, keep it right here on IGN.
Oui, un headset pour s'entendre parler. T'es un gros XLR, GM. Mais c'est ça, toi t'aimes les slow games, mais au moins, genre pour vrai, moi je trouve que le pacing de Spider-Man était parfait. Mais c'est ça, moi j'ai des slow games, tu sais, oups, c'est comment je suis fait, de la misère un petit peu. Une mise à jour d'un article qu'on a couvert hier matin lors de la VIICTIIMINUTE. Le Red Dead Redemption Collection, apparemment c'était un fake, c'était un hoax, c'était du Photoshop ainsi que du HTML. Management or whatever. As a Game Rant report, the recently surfaced image of Red Dead Redemption, the Outlaws Collection, may have given fans hope, but now that is all falling apart. While the image implies the existence of a Red Dead Redemption remake bundled with a next-gen port of Red Dead Redemption 2, it is all very likely fake. Rumors regarding a potential remake or remaster of 2010's Red Dead Redemption have been swirling around for quite some time now. Monsieur Pop, merci pour le follow. All of this was further fueled when Rockstar Games purchased Ruffian Games, the studio responsible for releasing Halo the Master Chief Collection. If that wasn't enough, the game was also recently listed on Amazon with a price tag of $50 and a release date of December 10th. Many started speculating that an announcement was set for this year's The Game Awards that take place on the same day. While Rockstar Games never confirmed or denied these rumors, a new image surfaced that cited the existence of a Red Dead Redemption The Outlaws collection for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and S. Unfortunately, this is certainly a hoax, as Kotaku's Zach Zwinbin extensively explained on Twitter. Starting off, Zwinbin says that the creator probably searched for a high-quality PNG image of Arthur Morgan and John Marston, and after some tweaking, planted it on the actual cover art from Red Dead Redemption 2. There was also a weird black marks on either side of the alleged cover art. Ça, c'est sûr que si on aurait investigué plus longtemps, là, on aurait pu le checker. Mais c'est vrai que hier, je trouvais ça weird que sur le cover, il y avait John Marston, pas de chapeau. Parce que si c'était un Red Dead Collection, tu sais, t'as Arthur Morgan du 2 avec son art, puis t'aurais du art de Red Dead 1. Fait que John Marston avec un chapeau. John Marston, il y a un chapeau dans le jeu. But apparently, it was all fake. It was all fake. Encore une fois, c'est qui tantôt qui a dit que je suis facile à... Voyons, comment il a dit ça? Je suis facile à berner. Yeah, c'est ça. Digital Foundry ont sorti une vidéo comparant Dirt 5 sur Xbox Series X ainsi que sur PlayStation 5. Puis Dirt 5 a été vraiment marketé avec... J'ai inventé un mot. Calice. Promu. Tiens, je me suis rattrapé. Promu sur Xbox Series X. Puis en plus, Xbox vont de l'avant en disant que hey, notre console, c'est la plus performante jamais conçue. Yada yada. Mais apparemment, avec Dirt 5, ce n'est pas le cas. The Xbox Series X version mange la poussière versus la PlayStation 5 one.
Alright guys, today we're talking about yet
another
comparison for a multi-plat, I guess we could say AAA title, running on both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and how apparently, once again, the PS5 comes out on top, which is very surprising at this point, considering it's becoming a trend. And so I want to take some time to talk about that and just kind of talk about whether or not it's starting to look like the PS5 is actually going to be the more performant console going forward, which, again, not really the general expectation that was set going into this current generation. And yes, now I can call it the current generation, which is nice. So we're going to talk about that. We're also talking about how Sony has confirmed that VRR functionality will be coming in a future system update, which a lot of people are very happy to hear that. And finally, we're going over some more comments that Sony recently made about the future of the PlayStation 5 and how they seem to hint at how long this generation is going to last for them. And honestly, it's not too surprising, but it might actually be a little bit shorter than some people were expecting. So we're going to go over that as well. If you could do me a favor, hit the like button to help the video out, hit the subscribe button if you're new, and hit the bell notification icon as well. But the game that we are talking about is Dirt 5, because Digital Foundry released yet another direct comparison video. And I would say unsurprisingly at this point, but I still think it's kind of surprising. The PS5
mais Forza Horizon en ce moment, tu l'as pas comme next-gen game.
Better looking version. Now, when it comes to performance, the PS5 isn't necessarily outperforming the Series X in a meaningful way. They seem to be kind of on par in that area. However, when it comes to visual fidelity and graphical quality, pixel counts, the PS5 seems to have a significant edge. Now, I do want to let you know before playing this clip from Digital Foundry, because it is being taken out of context, so I will give you some context. Digital Foundry, they are a little bit confused as to why this is the case. They did not expect this. They do say, and this is their best guess, that it could be a bug, something along those lines that's causing the major visual difference between the Series X version and the PS5 version of Dirt 5, but they don't know for sure. And Richard Ledbetter does also say that
Pas de
regardless
free console
of
pour Wolf, sadly.
that, whether that ends up being the reasoning, this is the retail code, right?
Mais ils vont changer la
Game is out.
PS5 aussi.
So I'm going to talk more about that in a second. Listen to what Digital Foundry has to say when comparing Dirt 5 on the PS5 and Xbox Series
Ok,
X.
mais le gars qui parle, pour vrai, il est boring.
On PS5 is significantly higher than on the
Check ça.
Xbox systems. Basically, it looks like the PS5 version is just using the same detail settings from resolution mode, whereas the Xbox systems are using a mode where the car LODs take a significant hit, like during the introduction scene. Even if you're just on a time trial with one car,
damn,
you can see here it's missing a lot of detail on the car. The road installation or the detail on the road, that's completely gone. So all the little pebbles.
C'est bien, il était même pas rond.
The grass is pared way back.
Holy shit.
There's also a reduction in overall geometry in the environment.
Ça flash de même.
Of course, texture filtering is much lower quality. And again, so this one targets 60 frames per second, and both Xbox Series X and PS5 deliver just
Mais
that.
c'est ça, parce que, tu sais, on a regardé du footage de Dirt 5 sur Xbox Series X avant que les consoles sortent, puis j'étais comme, le jeu n'a pas l'air next-gen, pas en tout, là. Crytek l'a dit, Xbox bottleneck facilement.
The time, but as you can see,
On a déjà du controversy au début.
Sections when all the cars are clumped together.
Au début du life cycle.
On this track, the PS5 has an ever so slight advantage. When looking at these side by sides, the first thing I did notice is actually, for some reason, the PS5 version gets slightly better texture filtering. So that seems to be different between them. And also, in these side by sides during the introductions for races, the average resolution is a little bit higher on PS5. Again, it's a very strange thing. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's what the data is showing us. Okay,
very
so
interesting.
That's what we have now. So that's image quality mode. It's
good
jeu on all platforms, but there are some very odd differences.
Mais Dirt 5 a vraiment été
now, these results are
Xbox.
obviously interesting because, yet again, the PS5 is coming out on top, and it seems to be a little bit more significant this time when it comes to the visual quality. Again, it could be a bug, but I don't think that's relevant. I told you guys I was going to be covering this. I told you what my expectation was. I don't need to keep going on and on about it, but let's be honest right now. These are the things that people are interested in, as they should be. People want to know if they're going to spend $500 on a next generation console, which one is going to give them the best bang for their buck. And I already told you guys many times in the past that the PlayStation, you know, with what it's offering games-wise, in my opinion, is already giving you more bang for your buck.
I agree.
Now that we're starting to see a trend, and that trend is the PS5 is also the more performant console, and it actually runs multi-platform games better, and they look better, sometimes slightly, sometimes not so slightly. That's a big deal, and that's going to matter to a lot of people, especially if this trend continues.
Especially
Digital Foundry does say that these are the early days. All of these games, you know, they're games that are being developed in a turbulent time, and you know, there's multiple platforms that they have to worry about. So all of this stuff is understandable. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to remain the trend, but in my opinion, that's neither here nor there. The point is,
more like
fact
fanboys,
this is the trend
bitches.
that is currently being established. These are retail games. The consoles are out, and we are seeing the final results. Now, it's going to continue to go on for many years, and I suspect, as I said in my last video talking about this, that things will get better for Xbox. But a lot of these Xbox guys, as I've said, they continue to make excuses. It's the dev tools, it's the development environment, it's the developers themselves. In fact, I think it was a Dirt 5 developer, ironically enough, that kind of shot down the rumor that apparently the Xbox Series X dev tools are not mature enough.
Even Richard Ledbetter of Digital Foundry, and he was perplexed by it, and he hinted at possible shortcomings with dev tools. He said maybe there's API limitations, because he said it wasn't the CPU, any bottlenecks with the hardware.
Is it? Do you think that's the case? Are Microsoft's tools a little bit further behind than Sony's? I think that's been said by a few devs.
I mean, I wouldn't say that.
Ça va être sick en 120 FPS.
You know, it could be the development environment itself, not necessarily a maturation
Xbox wins,
issue
PS5 is shit.
Dev tools, right? They're two, in my opinion, they seem like they'd be two different things. But again, it's not even really worth getting too deep into that because that's not what matters right now.
Kids like
it's
Xbox.
Just not. If you're an Xbox fan and you bought a Series
Not
X
anymore, no more
because
Xbox.
you were under
C'est
the
vrai, tu l'as vendu.
understandably so, that you were going to be getting the better looking and better running multiplats. I mean, how many times have we heard it? I'm going to get the Series
Xbox a
X,
disparu, je l'ai perdu, Nate. Tu la trouves. Tu sais, joue à Sackboy.
On console. And look at the trend that's being established.
Je veux jouer à Sackboy, Sackboy, c'est le fun, Big Bang,
wahoo! Go on and on about this because I've been hearing it for literally over a year. And I told you guys that I was going to be covering it and I was going to be following it because I want to see what the trend is going to be out of the gate. Is it going to be these games look mostly the same? And to be fair, to some extent they do. But is the Series X going to have the better performing games, the better looking games?
Mais tu sais, c'est ça, c'est un jeu.
Or is the
c'est un jeu. Mais là, j'entends également beaucoup de discussions par rapport au fait que là, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, ça serait un autre jeu qui runnerait mieux sur PlayStation 5, malgré le fait qu'Ubisoft est allé de l'avant et ils ont dit que le jeu est optimisé pour Series X. Ok, ça c'est Series S par exemple. C'est normal, c'est
somehow going to be the PS5 is the more performant, better looking console when it comes to multiplats, and that's the trend that's being established. So, you know, at this point, my only recommendation to Xbox fans, those who care about the multiplat experience, you need to voice your concern to Microsoft. You need to get them to respond to this because, in my opinion, this is unacceptable. When you listen to marketing for like a year straight about the world's most powerful console, the most powerful Xbox ever made, games are going to look and run best on X. X is going to give it to you. It goes on and on.
X gonna give it to you.
You should be pretty upset. And if I were an Xbox fan right now, and that's why I bought the console, I'd be fuming. I really would be. I'd be like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I went out there and bought a Series X when I could have probably gotten a PS5 because I was expecting to get the better looking, better running multiplats and the other console. Yeah. Mark Cerny tried to warn them when he said that it's dangerous to rely on the teraflop when it comes to game performance.
Damn.
So
if you just calculate teraflops, you get the same number. But actually, the performance is noticeably different because teraflops is defined as the computational capability of the vector ALU. That's just one part of the GPU.
You got a point, Mr. Cerny, mais l'affaire qui arrive, c'est que personne t'écoutait parler pendant ce talk-là. Personne. We were sleeping.
There are a lot of other units. And those other
ouais, je me rappelle, Alex. Fuck it, Joel Max.
At
no
33%
regrets.
higher frequency, rasterization goes 33% faster. Processing the command buffer goes that much faster. The L2 and other caches.
Say, Mark Cerny, yes, he's a genius. He built the architecture de la PlayStation 5, mais he is the definition of a fucking nerd.
Much higher bandwidth. Also, it's easier to fully use 36 CUs in parallel than it is to fully use 48 CUs. When triangles are small, it's much harder to fill
oh my god, nerd!
So there's a lot to be said for faster, assuming you can handle the resulting power and heat issues.
Alright, il y en a qui voulaient voir la comparison d'Assassin's Creed. Déjà, on fait une vidéo de 20 minutes, fait qu'on va l'écouter en accéléré, wow. Actually, non, c'est pas une bonne idée parce que ça va comme niveau performance, on verra pas le actual thing. Mais si je trouve que c'est trop long, je vais le couper pour passer à autre chose.
So you've been waiting for it and asking for it, and it's here. The cross-console comparison of Assassin's Creed Valhalla on Xbox Series S, X, and PS5. To talk about this very interesting cross-comparison analysis here, I'm joined by my resident friend and colleague, John Linneman. How you doing there, John?
pretty good, Alex. I mean, I guess Audi wasn't available as our helpful Norwegian.
Valhalla's PC.
So
Forget about it.
And yeah, so we've both been playing some of this.
Non, il y a PS5, je le
I
cache.
managed to make it a little bit further.
There it
than
is.
You, but you've been sitting there. We've heard some interesting info about that, and yeah, let's put it to the test.
Yeah, I think before we get there, though, to the immediate kind of cross comparisons here, it's good to talk a little bit about the game first, because this is, you know, another iteration of this Anvil Next engine.
By the way, Alex, si tu veux commencer ton stream, là, je sais qu'il est midi, là, t'es pas obligé de wait pour la fin de Nintendo. Si tu veux faire tes affaires, c'est all good. Je veux pas que tu te prives pour si tu voulais faire partie de la discussion. Et au PS5 Digital, like it changed something.
Terrain, and I think one of the better things that they've done in this kind of version of the game engine is
that
they have snow found at least across the whole Scandinavian.
On va s'en reprendre, man. There's plenty really nice Nintendo shit to discuss down the road.
Move around the snow and see it displace underneath your character, and I think it works really well.
But what is great, and something we've been asking for years, they finally added object motion blur. That's right, object blur is here. We've complained about it for a long time, and it looks good. What do you think, Alex?
I think it's pretty excellent.
What?
You know, Assassin's Creed games have always been pretty great looking, and I always thought they kind of were just missing that fluidity of motion, especially on consoles where they were targeting 30 FPS originally. And here they added per object motion blur.
Nerd shit, yeah.
Across all platforms.
Ça, je me dis.
And
I don't understand.
Just applies to characters and moving objects, and doesn't actually seem to have any sort of real camera motion blur in the game.
It does not have it, I can confirm. Having tested with black frame insertion and on a CRT, there is zero motion blur on the camera, which is great because, you know, camera blur can be distracting sometimes, but per object motion blur, that's what we're talking about when we say we love motion blur, and it does look good here.
It looks pretty great here. I like it. Getting into the graphical quality of all these games, I've noticed that the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are using the exact same graphical quality presets across my testing. And by that I mean like the way the effects look, the distance of geometry, level of detail changing.
Non, ça va être mon jeu des fights de zombies.
Looks the exact same.
Ça puis probablement Watch Dogs.
Xbox Series X, which I tested by moving backwards and forwards here and just checking when this character model would change in the distance. And it is the exact same on both consoles. Tessellation distance is the exact same on both consoles, which you can see here when moving backwards and forwards and seeing little tessellation spike on the ground kind of rendering in and out. Oh my god. On both consoles. Resolution
fucking
for shadows
nerds.
Is the same. The distance at which tree and terrain LOD changes are the exact same, which you can see in this shot here, kind of in slow motion, where the horses are at the exact same distance in this shot here, and the tree changes its LOD.
Pourquoi c'est différent genre niveau couleur? C'est bien bizarre. Pourquoi on dirait qu'il y en a un qui a un filtre de jaune pisse, l'autre c'est blanc. Time ouais. Time of day.
In this shot here, and the tree changes its LOD at the exact same time. Basically, these games look very, very similar from a graphical effects perspective, and I've seen kind of rumor mongering across the web that there's tiny differences between them. In all honesty, I think if you're seeing differences between these games from a visual effects perspective, it might just be because there's different scenarios like time of day differences, or maybe it's just a bug, which, you know, this game has bugs. So it could be something like that.
And it is interesting to see them because for this game, we'll talk about performance later, but this is the first time they've targeted 60 frames per second on consoles. When Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag
60
launched
FPS.
for PS4 and Xbox One, they focused primarily on adding a lot of visual flourishes to this. Whereas this case, it's pretty much still visually on par with the, you know, Xbox One X and PS4 Pro version. Overall, it's just about bumping up performance. But that doesn't mean there isn't one.
You're a drinking game.
Console. There's Xbox Series S as well, right?
Yeah, Series S does have some similarities, like the character LOD range is the exact same as Series X and PS5. Tessellation distance is also the exact same, but it does have some lower things, like the shadow resolution across the entire world is generally lower. So if you look at shadows on the ground, like you can see here, you'll see that they're more diffused.
Xbox Series X versus
this wouldn't really actually be a big deal when you're just like traversing across the terrain, but it would technically mean that like random conversations in the open world will have like worse shadows, and you'll be able to notice it there. Another difference
PC 280 FPS. Je sais pas sur Assassin's Creed si tu peux aller chercher autant d'FPS, je pense pas.
To lower quality versions much quicker. And this is the most, I would say, the largest difference between all the versions beyond their
C'est ça, good luck. Le monde a besoin d'aller chercher 60.
See the LEDs flickering in and out much more easily, even though it's targeting a lower frame rate.
It seems more noticeable for sure.
In terms of loading, this is the usual next-gen upgrade, basically. It's loading okay, but not as fast as other games, I would say. I basically loaded up the exact same save using the cross-save ability that Ubisoft allows, and found out that PlayStation 5 loads the quickest at 2330, and then Xbox Series X just a little more than 3 seconds thereafter at 2648, and then Series S as the slowest with 27.
I love my P5.
The differences there make
Was that a gun? P5.
Really, the SSD speed difference here, or actually if it's just CPU
Ça se promène
in
entre
some way, given the slight difference between
80,
Series S and
60 et
X.
90.
You know, I think everyone's here for the big discussion of resolution and frame rate, because one of the first cross comparisons of this generation. And honestly, when playing this game and you put them back to back, I've been playing the PlayStation 5 and Xbox
Mais pour
Series
vrai,
X.
la version Series S. Attendez, là, c'est pas un point de référence. Mais la version Series S looks pretty good, pour vrai, là. Je sais pas en termes de framerate si c'est capable d'aller chercher du 60 FPS, mais comme visuellement, là, it looks pretty much the same. Peut-être moins de détails, genre, sur le personnage, là. C'est 30, ok, c'est ça, par exemple. Damn, PS5 est best pour le loading, mais pour les couleurs, on va passer. Ben, ça a l'air identique, là, Beria. Je sais pas où tu vois les couleurs.
Comparisons of this generation, and honestly, when playing this game,
non, mais c'est ça que je me dis. Series S, là. Rendu là, dépense le money pour. Dépense tes bidous pour avoir une Series X.
They're both running at dynamic resolution using this temporal upsampling method that Assassin's Creed games have used since, I think, at least Origins.
Yeah, I think that's where they introduced that.
It's going down to 1440p and presumably up to 4K.
Ouais, mais tu vas être déçu, c'est ça qui arrive. Si t'as un Xbox Series S, tu vas être déçu selon moi.
4K because I actually didn't really ever get any counts of a real 4K when doing this.
Yeah, it doesn't seem, it gets close, I think, but it doesn't actually seem to really hit that native 4K, and that's fine.
That's fine.
This is a good choice. Dynamic resolution scaling works pretty well here, especially with that 60 FPS target.
Ah ouais, c'est vrai.
Xbox Series S.
C'est vrai, Alexis, mais comme je fais juste dire mon point, comme quoi que, tu sais, si t'es pour investir dans une console, vas-y all in.
Yeah.
Oh my god, on le voit, le 30 FPS.
Is that, even though it's targeting, a lower 30
pas cette chambre de Series X, j'ajoute une Stadia.
Does,
c'est good internet, why not?
Lower than the other consoles as well. I counted at its lowest, at the worst spot, where I would see PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X bottoming out at 1440p. I would count at such places on Series S 1188p. So slight...
Je pense que ça fait le tour de la vidéo, là. C'est quand même 20 minutes de vidéo. Si vous voulez regarder la vidéo complète, go ahead and do that. Je suis sûr qu'il y a more nerd stuff à découvrir là-dedans. Mortal Kombat ont annoncé un skin pack inspiré par le film de Mortal Kombat. Ça inclut les voix puis le likenessness, fait que genre la face des acteurs du film original. Christopher Lambert versus Christopher Lambert in Mortal Kombat. Y a-t-il d'autres ok, y a pas d'autres screenshots. On va regarder le trailer. J'avais vu ça sur Reddit, je me suis dit c'était juste comme un fun fact, mais là le monde en report on it, fait que I'll cover it. Il y a même un trailer. Oh my god.
I step into is mine.
Sonya Blade. Avec la toune.
End of the line.
Then this fight is now personal.
Oh my god, c'est Raiden! Arrgh.
It is exhausting.
C'est Johnny Cage. For standalone purchase. Damn, il chie quand même beaucoup de contenu, hein, Mortal Kombat. C'est avec la Ultimate Edition. T'as des skin packs. Quoi d'autre que j'avais? Yes, j'avais les Games with Gold pour le mois de décembre. Games with Gold, man. Ouais, je comprends pas pourquoi ils gardent le Games with Gold quand t'as le Game Pass. En tout cas, les jeux gratuits pour le mois de décembre sur Xbox avec Xbox Games Gold. T'as The Raven Remastered, Bleed 2, Saints Row Get Out of Hell, de Xbox 360. Fait qu'il est sur Xbox One, je sais pas pourquoi ils donnent la version Xbox 360. Puis Stacking. $3,200 in game score. Shitty free games. Ils ont même fait un trailer pour ça. L'autre affaire qui est parue pendant sur Twitter, comme quoi Red Dead Online va être un standalone release à partir du 1er décembre sur Epic Games Store, Steam, PlayStation Store, Microsoft Store et Rockstar Launcher. Ce qui veut dire que vous n'avez pas besoin d'acheter Red Dead Redemption 2 pour jouer en ligne. GTA Online, là, me semble qu'il avait annoncé comme quoi que ça allait être la même chose sur Next Gen. Me semble que j'ai lu une affaire reliée à ça. Ça dit le prix? Red Dead Online will be available from the PlayStation Store, Microsoft Store, Rockstar Games Launcher, Epic Games Store, and Steam at an introductory offer of $5, which is 75% off of the regular price until February 15th, 2021. Please note that PlayStation Plus and or Xbox Live Gold are required to play. The PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions of Red Dead Online will be playable via backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series hardware. The new standalone version of Red Dead Online will require up to 123 gigabytes of disk space. And will also include the option to unlock Red Dead Redemption 2 Story Mode, purchased separately. Damn, that's a lot of gigabytes. 1, 2, 3. C'est un autre code. Yeah, surtout si le RP explose. Effectivement. Effectivement. On a un nouveau trailer pour Hitman 3 de IO Interactive. Je vous rappelle que IO a annoncé leur nouveau jeu de James Bond la semaine dernière. On n'en connaît pas vraiment beaucoup, mais travaille là-dessus. New Hitman 3 location revealed. Chongqing! I wish I made that up. Improved lighting and reflections, overhauled effects, improved animations, more NPCs on display, 4K, 60 FPS, HDR on new consoles and PC. Nice. Hitman 1 and 2 will get same enhancements through Hitman 3. Nice. Je le trouve nice, le logo de IO Interactive.
At IO Interactive, we make games from scratch, using our own in-house engine. We call it Glacier.
Glacier. Yes, Luciana
sounds and plays better than ever with our third installment. Lighting and reflections are updated, which is on full display here on the rainy, near-lit streets of our newly revealed location, Chongqing.
Chongqing.
Details like water effects, drops hitting Agent 47, and his clothes getting wet all adds to player immersion. No pun intended.
Ça fait 20 jours,
animation has been tightened and optimized for a game that feels much more fluid
and je pense que je vais y jouer, man. Même si je choque dans les stealth games, j'aime bien ça.
Ever since the first Hitman game 20 years ago, we've been setting the bar for AI in games. And we continue to push that envelope with more than 300 active NPC AIs at once, expanding on the possibilities in the living, breathing world that players have come to expect from us.
C'est quel qui est sorti sur Absolution, je pense, c'est celui que j'ai joué, le dernier. J'ai bien aimé.
60 frames per second and HDR. And all these improvements in animation, rendering, AI, and so forth will all be part of Hitman 1 and 2 through Hitman 3, enhancing the full trilogy. We can't wait for you to experience all this yourself. So be sure to pre-order Hitman 3 now so that you're ready to go when January 20 comes around.
Il y a plus d'informations par rapport à quel point Nintendo fuck around avec la communauté de Smash. Il y a un anonymous Twitter user qui a posté un tweet longer hier concernant toutes les mesures que Nintendo a mis en place pour stopper la communauté ou l'accroissement de la communauté de Smash, autant Ultimate que Super Smash Bros. Melee. Je vous rappelle que Nintendo la semaine dernière est allé de l'avant avec une mise en demeure sur un des plus gros tournois de Smash en général de Big House parce que il n'y a même pas tag victim. I know, right? Yo, I'm providing the information. Fait que c'est ça. Fait que c'est ça, ils sont allés de l'avant avec une mise en demeure parce que le tournoi allait utiliser une version modifiée de Smash Melee qui permettait aux joueurs de jouer en ligne. Puis Nintendo était comme no, not on our watch. Nintendo est très protective de leur propriété intellectuelle, ce qui fait en sorte que ils ont tiré la plug sur le tournoi de Big House. Fait que let's read on it. Puis encore une fois, la raison pourquoi j'en parle, maybe you don't give a fuck, mais c'est pour pour sensibiliser les gens. De plus de monde sont au courant à quel point Nintendo c'est une shit company en termes de tout ce qui est community support. De plus de monde va en parler. Ça va faire jaser ses réseaux sociaux. Vous avez sûrement vu les hashtags sur Twitter Free Melee puis Save Smash passer. C'est justement pour avoir de la visibilité pour que Nintendo gets their head out of their ass puis fasse de quoi. OK? Fait que notre Anonymous Smasher a écrit This was written months prior to Nintendo sending a cease and desist to Big House. It was not written with that context in mind. This is being released anonymously for obvious reasons. To begin, I won't state that I am not a journalist. What I'm writing below is directly from what I've been told by the individuals who work at these companies or are deeply familiar with the business dealings of these companies by the nature of their position in esports. I did not obtain emails, contracts, or documents to verify their claims. I am merely trusting their word. If a journalist wants to take it to the next level, to check everything, I would encourage it. Maybe non, j'ai pas assez de temps pour investir là-dessus. Ça serait cool, genre c'est un Jason Schreier pourrait investiguer là-dessus, mais je doute fort bien. I also want to point out that what I write below does not just include Melee. Most of what I am about to describe applies to Smash 4, fait que Smash sur Wii U et 3DS, mais plus sur Wii U, Ultimate, and even Brawl. All Smash scenes have been held back by Nintendo's actions. Fait que vous voyez, c'est comme un problème qui perdure depuis très longtemps. I'm writing this for the purpose of making the community at large aware of the things that I and many other members of the community have been aware of for years, but we're simply unwilling to talk about publicly because of the hope that Nintendo would make something happen. That hope is pretty much gone for me now, so I feel completely okay with sharing what I know. For the longest time, it's been known that Nintendo has wanted to avoid supporting the Smash esports scene in a way that helps us pass grassroots levels. Nintendo is this identity that, for cultural and financial reasons, has simply chosen to not get involved in esports with Smash. At least not on the level that publishers get involved in with most major esports. We've heard quotes from top executive at Nintendo many times about the disinterest in competitive gaming. We accept this because it's their intellectual property and they can have whatever vision they see fit for it. Parce que Nintendo, c'est comme un toy company. Ils vendent Mario Party, puis Wahoo, puis stuff like that. S'en fout là, du monde qui fasse des carrières en jouant à leur jeu. Mais il y a une affaire qui est mentionnée là-dedans que je trouve quand même bizarre, puis c'est avec Splatoon. Parce que Nintendo, on dirait qu'ils sont très sélectifs avec les jeux qu'ils essayent de push en termes de tournois. Là. However, Nintendo's stance feels less innocent when you understand that they also deliberately prevent other entities from helping our scene through various actions or inactions. Fait que non seulement Nintendo met des barrières dans les roues pour les organisateurs de tournois, mais également pour les sponsors qui veulent aider les organisateurs de tournois. Ce qui est fucked up en crise. Furthermore, these acts have gone on while stamping their names on our grassroots events, or inviting a few of our personalities to their events. We regularly get a smidgen of hope that they're taking steps in the right direction, but no significant changes ever take place. They directly benefit from our community's existence while providing relatively little support and taking action that hurt our scene. This note is written to shed light on the different ways Nintendo has stopped the scene from growing. As a part of this community, you deserve to know what many top players and influencers in the Smash scene have known for years. The only reason I speak on this now is because I feel we're at a point where we have nothing to lose. Ce qui est vrai. In the past, we'd be afraid to speak publicly because there was some hope that we were so close to having a real esports relationship with Nintendo, only to have that opportunity consistently slip away. Fait que ça, c'est toutes les third parties qui ont essayé de travailler avec Nintendo, avec Smash, je veux dire, puis Nintendo a pull the plug. E-League, qui ont fait plusieurs tournois de Counter-Strike, Street Fighter, avaient prévu de faire justement quelque chose avec Smash Ultimate. Finalement, ils ont juste eu le droit de rebroadcast le Ultimate Invitational qui a eu lieu au E3 2018, je pense. Fait que c'était littéralement une rediffusion. Il y a HTC, ESL, le Esports League, également, ils ont fait plein de tournois de Halo, de Counter-Strike. Puis c'est ça qui est bizarre, parce que Nintendo a partner avec ESL pour Splatoon puis ARMS. Mais il y a comme pas de communauté compétitive de ça. Genre, qui est un competitive gamer à ARMS? What? Splatoon, ok, fine. Genre, il y a des esports. Mais ARMS? It's a dead game. What? MLG, ça date de longtemps. De très longtemps même. While the MLG era was a very long time ago, the impact of the decision hit the scene the most at a point where it was just starting to thrive and would have officially shut us down had it not been our revival in 2013 due to the Evo/documentary. Ben c'est ça. Parce que back in the OG days, dans le temps de Halo 2, Halo 3, MLG voulait pick up Smash, mais Nintendo a dit no, vous avez pas le droit. Fait qu'ils ont comme droppé ça, puis ça a fait en sorte que Melee, spécifiquement, était dans un weird spot. Puis en plus, le nouveau Smash, je pense que c'était Brawl at the time, il était sorti, puis la communauté de Melee a pas aimé Brawl. Fait que là, il était censé retourner. Il voulait retourner à Melee, mais là, ça a splitté. En tout cas, j'ai écouté le Smash documentary. C'est great. Justement, il y a une autre affaire par rapport au Smash documentary on va y en venir après que je lis le tweet longer. Red Bull, Twitch a voulu s'associer. It's crazy. So, another close call, another year of delay. No guarantee they would make anything work out once Ultimate was out. It's been a while since Ultimate released with no news in sight of a circuit as far as I've made aware. Those talks of a circuit are completely dead. Par exemple, il y avait justement le World League or whatever que c'était VG, Video Game Bootcamp qui avait organisé, puis à cause du COVID, ça a été annulé, of course. Pourquoi Nintendo soutiendrait une version piratée de leur jeu? Ben, l'argument, Hobo, c'est que, comme quoi que techniquement, avoir un ROM, un ISO du jeu dans ton ordi, c'est légal. C'est le fait de le distribuer at large que c'est pas légal. Puis c'est un jeu qui date de 2001. Genre, who gives a fuck? C'est pas comme si ça faisait en sorte que le monde achetait pas genre Ultimate ou ça nuisait aux ventes de Smash Ultimate là. C'est deux jeux complètement différents. Non, c'est faux ça. Si tu as le RIP toi-même, c'est pas légal. Mais ce que j'ai entendu dire dans les vidéos babouche, c'est que si admettons t'as le jeu, tu peux transférer le ISO du jeu dans ton ordi puis c'est légal. C'est juste en autant que tu le distribues pas. Et presque personne n'a de quoi dump sa cassette. Oui, dans ce cas-là. Ok, c'est ça, je voulais juste comme... Puis le 3/4 des gens qui jouent à Melee sur Sleepy ont déjà une version de Smash, fait que, de Melee, fait que... C'est ça l'argument de la communauté, là, mais c'est all legal bullshit, là, je connais pas assez. My personal comments on the entities above, according to my sources... the entities above mentioned, every single one of them has attempted to work with Nintendo while fronting at all costs. In other words, they attempt to work with Nintendo without asking for a dime from them. All they seek is permission. This is not the normal practice. Typically, developers front some money themselves for a chance to run a circuit with companies like Red Bull and Twitch. In this instance, we have Twitch and Red Bull willing to put down a lot of money to run a circuit, and still hardly anything comes from Nintendo. Qu'est-ce que c'est ça, Méo? Yeah, on l'a vu ça. Je suis random, mais je trouvais ça nice, on l'a vu tantôt. Oui, mais c'est pas leur ISO à eux. C'est celui fourni par l'organisation sans doute. Same pour les Blu-ray. Si tu rips en digital pour ton personal use, it's legal. Blu-ray et VHS. Mais si tu donnes un pouce de lousse là-dessus, les joueurs communauté vont prendre 10 km. Ok, c'est fair, t'as raison, Hobo. Mais on est en pandémie mondiale, esti! Le jeu, y a pas d'online! C'est quoi l'esti de problème? Chris, le monde reste chez eux! Peux-tu jouer au jeu online avec un mod? Excusez là. I got a bit heated. Mais c'est vrai. Le monde a juste joué. Ça, c'est le dumbest argument. Regarde du competitive melee, regarde du ultimate. Deux mondes complètement différents. Puis le online de ultimate est à chier. Les pros de Smash Ultimate le disent. Ultimate Online, garbage. Don't wanna play it. Il y en a beaucoup qui ont droppé. Si tu regardes les top commentators de Smash Ultimate, ils sont tous en train de faire du variety sur Twitch. Parce qu'ils sont juste pas capables de faire du contenu sur Smash. En ce moment, Smash Ultimate Online, it's bad. Je sais que le monde ne comprenne pas. PlayStation Gameplay, on va le garder pour demain et j'achève Méo. J'aimerais crissement ça jouer à Demon's Souls sur PC, mais j'ai pas de PS5. Je comprends pas ton argument, Robot. Y a-t-il quelque chose que Nintendo Online qui est pas de la scrap? Même Tetris Online suck. Perso, si le mod te demande une version legit de X-Faction, je sais pas si Nintendo sera ok. Nintendo sont pas capables de faire du online. Yo, Slippy, c'est une personne qui l'a fait. Une! Smash Melee puis Smash Ultimate. Mais je pense, Adro, il faut vraiment que tu sois comme dans la communauté de Smash puis comprendre genre le feel. Parce que quelqu'un from the outside looking in comprendrait pas à quel point Melee est différent de Ultimate. Mais Cyberpunk a tellement l'air mieux sur PC. Oui, t'as fait d'accord. Mais pour certains, il va être meilleur sur PS4. En tout cas, at a certain point, it becomes clear that Nintendo doesn't want Smash eSport to happen, but they allow people to think it will. If you'll allow me, I'd like to give my personal thoughts on what this means. Nintendo knows there is a benefit in keeping the scene hopeful, while never shutting us down completely. Think about it. If Nintendo really had such a problem with Smash eSport, they could shut it down. Likewise, if Nintendo really wanted us to succeed, they could just apply their incredible resources to make it happen. I have some thoughts on why we get neither outcome, and why Nintendo remains conveniently uncommitted to either scenario. Shutting us down completely would be very bad publicity. At this point, we as a community have enough of a voice to influence the actions of major corporations, including Nintendo. It's a marvel of the internet. They famously refused their reprehensible decision to shut down Melee stream at EVO 2013 after we raised close to $100,000 to fight breast cancer. We caused a ruckus on the internet, and 5 hours later, we were back on stream at EVO. The effects of that moment ring out today. We're way bigger now, and they know how loud our voices are. Perhaps that is exactly why they only dip their toes and pretend to help the scene. Maybe they don't want us to help us grow and get louder. Maybe they don't want to spend money on this esports thing. Maybe they think competitive Smash differs from their vision of the game. Fine. However, while all that may be true, they simultaneously do want what our voices give them. Marketing. A whole lot of free marketing. It makes sense when you think about it. They're always feigning support, never really providing it, never really stopping us either. C'est vrai, puis justement, il y a un streamer, Ludwig, que lui, il fait un peu le même principe que Evo en 2013. Là. Il ramasse de l'argent pour la charité, il fait un prize pool pour la charité. Je pense qu'il a ramassé comme 40 000 $ à la date pour voir si Nintendo va lui donner une mise en demeure. Parce que c'est avec Slippy. Puis tu sais, c'est un estime de genre bad publicity si Nintendo il shut down un tournoi pour la charité là, à cause ça utilise une version modifiée de leur jeu. Ouh, c'est bad publicity ça. C'est clairement pas rentable pour les efforts que je demanderais. Ils ont pas besoin de marketing, ils ont Mario Bros puis Zelda. Exact. Pourquoi worry about a game 19 years old de 2001? Les maudites applications sur cellulaire pour faire un groupe qui pensaient que c'était une bonne idée. Je sais qu'Ultimate Smash, c'est pas la même affaire, mais c'est comme dire que j'aimerais faire Time Story 2 online sur ma Switch, ça existe pas, fait qu'on joue pas. Oui, mais c'est pas la même affaire. Ouais, Nintendo!
You greedy cocksuckers!
Esti. I think it is very clear that Nintendo benefits from the influencers that the esports community has created. Hell, Nintendo has even used these influencers for their invitationals at E3 to help promote the game. MK Leo, Armada, Hungrybox, Mango, c'est tout du monde qui stem de la communauté compétitive de Smash. Fait que ça n'a aucun sens. C'est quelqu'un habillé en fucking veston cravate qui fait ses décisions, qui prend ses décisions déconnectées là. And it pisses me the fuck off. Look at it this way. Imagine a world where Smash esports wasn't a thing and Nintendo releases a direct. You'd probably have quite a few people watching on their computers in the privacy of their homes. And when it's done, they shut down and move on with their day. What we have instead are those very same people replying to Esam's tweet, sharing Elephant's video, playing Hbox reaction on repeat. You get hundreds of millions of impressions from fans of these influencers spreading news of the game everywhere. It doesn't take an advertising genius to understand the power of influencer marketing. And Nintendo is getting it not just for free, but while actively suppressing our scene from getting large. And I think that's awful. Non seulement ça, mais même dans le passé, Nintendo, genre, ils toléraient pas les playthroughs de leurs jeux sur YouTube. Puis, encore une fois, il y a du community backlash, puis ils ont pris un step back suite à ça. Ils sont vraiment weird. La communauté aînée de Smash, c'est genre 1% de leur vente. Je serais surpris. Ça me fait rire, Nintendo fait ça. Si tu vas au Japon, tu vois des magasins remplis de faux jeux Nintendo, ils font rien. Mais un petit mode online, attention, on ferme tout, c'est dangereux pour la compagnie. Oh no, it's Godzilla. C'est vrai, hein, ça, Wolf? Effects on our scene. Nintendo and grassroots events. It's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in when the announcement of a Nintendo approved grassroots event is considered a bad thing by much of the community. It's a near guarantee that UCF, ça c'est Universal Controller Fix, je pense, Slippy and Project M won't be present. I've spoken to a few TOs to get some insight as to what comes with a Nintendo partnership for an event. From my conversations, the benefits include allowing events to use their brand, which adds legitimacy to sponsors and potential attendees. The event won't get a cease and desist, not that it would be likely to begin with, but this partnership guarantees that it won't. For some events, they're supposed to use the Nintendo versus Twitter account to post about the event. A dead Twitter account en plus. For one event in particular, Nintendo did not deliver on that, but did during the second year. That's mostly it. Support varies between events after that. One TO received partial support for consoles at the event, while others did not. While no TO I spoke to received direct financial support, at least one event received indirect support via connections that enabled discounts for setups and equipments. However, every Splatoon setup was provided by Nintendo at every event they were a part of. Nintendo would also take up floor space for ultimate activation areas before the game's release. This is all without directly paying the tournament organizers, so effectively they were taking up floor space that people typically have to pay for to promote their own upcoming titles at events filled with Nintendo fans. It seems Nintendo can fully support games of their choosing when they want to. C'est ça qui est problématique. You'll notice a lot of top level players have been trouble securing a team, and players on tier 1 teams have been getting let go. A long time ago, teams were hopeful for Smash, and there was a surge of players pickups because of the crazy level of fan engagement paired up with the hope of an eventual Nintendo circuit that never came to be. Teams have begun to understand what Nintendo will never support the game, and thus far had to make the difficult decision to drop several Smashers over the last few years. Puis pour ceux qui disent que Smash Melee, oh, who cares? Y a pas de following, y a pas rien. Je fais juste vous donner des numbers, ok? Des Twitter followers pour some of the big people dans la Smash community. Si on regarde Mango, ok? 200,000 followers. Leffen, meilleur joueur EU, presque 300 000 followers. Armada, one of the goats, 150 000 followers. Si on regarde Hungrybox, 263 000 followers. Si on check plus du côté de Ultimate, MK Leo, 190 000 followers. Fait qu'il y a du monde qui suivent ces personnalités publiques-là. Il y a un auditoire. Si on regarde, mettons, Sam, 150 000 followers. Tu sais, comme, il y a du monde, il y a un auditoire pour du content smash. Fait que I do not fucking understand why Nintendo is being a fucking bitch about all of this. Mais est-ce que ça va affecter Nintendo financièrement? Non. Ben oui, si t'as un influenceur qui market ton jeu pis qu'il y a 150 000 followers, free publicity. Tu regardes une vidéo de Sam, t'es comme, oh shit, Smash Ultimate Align, nice. I will buy the game. It's free publicity. Fuck! Pour wrap up la Victime d'aujourd'hui, on a the fucking trailer, mesdames et messieurs. Le trailer que you've been waiting for depuis le début du stream. Here we go. Baby Buster!
Out of my way! In days of yore, there were two warriors.
I'd kill for a spicy tuna roll right about now. Get yourself a little something.
The brothers grew apart, and a new age began. The Middle Age.
Dad, is Uncle Ted coming for Christmas this year?
Sweetie, sometimes you just grow apart.
Le drôle qu'il y avait là, cette zone, j'ai personne avec qui en jaser. Regarde la rediff de hier.
You can't solve everything with money. But you can, Tim. You haven't changed at all. You're still a big baby. Suck it, Ted. You suck. Get that passing out of my face.
Excuse me. I hate to interrupt. I mean, it's a riveting conversation, but why don't you both suck it?
She can talk. All right.
I'm in the family business, and now you work for me.
Oh my god, dude.
Baby Corp developed a new formula that can turn a grown-up back into a baby for 48 hours.
You want me to be a baby again?
DMCA!
Yep, there's the F-word. Ew, baby. Memory wipe following this experience.
So, what's the crisis?
An evil genius is teaching kids to be very bad babies.
Welcome
to the No.
revolution.
We're gonna need a disguise to go undercover.
What have you done to me? No, really? What, are we going sailing? Oh no!
Thanks for always having my back. You're my brother.
We always stick together because that's what families do.
We need to hurry before the formula wears off.
What the? Aren't you a cutie in that little karate outfit?
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh!
I'm sure this isn't something money can't solve. What the fudge?
Je pensais qu'elle allait dire what the fuck. Ça aurait été épique, un petit bébé qui dit what the fuck. Fait que c'était ici qu'on va compléter la Victime d'aujourd'hui. J'espère que vous avez apprécié. En tout cas, moi j'ai trouvé que c'était un stream très constructif, très riche en contenu aujourd'hui. Fait que merci d'avoir été là. Merci d'avoir fait part de la discussion. There's more where that came from. Je vous rappelle que demain, on est de retour avec une autre Victime Minute. Dernière Victime Minute de la semaine à compter de 9h. Parce que jeudi, on va préparer les awards, qu'on va trouver un nom prochainement. Puis vendredi, on va poursuivre Demon's Souls, étant donné de Thanksgiving in the US of A. Fait que soyez là demain pour avoir votre dernière dose matinale de nouvelles dans le monde du divertissement ainsi que du gaming, des Major Key Awards. I kinda wanna stick with it, mais il y a quand même un bon point. On checkera ça tout jeudi puis on analysera le tout. On verra, man. On verra. Fait que, as per usual, vous pouvez trouver ce merveilleux talk show, podcast, stream de discussion sur les plateformes Spotify, Podcast Apple, Podcast Google, c'est de traduire le tout, et en rediffusion vidéo sur YouTube. Également, vous pouvez retrouver des grandes lignes sur TikTok aussi. Puis c'est tiktok.com/@victim, non /victim. Si vous faites juste une quick recherche sur TikTok, c'est juste victim comme ça s'écrit sur Twitch. Fait qu'aujourd'hui, j'ai posté mes impressions de la PlayStation 5. Les impressions de la Xbox Series X vont venir jeudi. Jeudi, je vais poster ça. Fait que c'est ça. Je sais pas si je vais faire un stream de Demon's Souls ce soir. Je pense que je vais garder le vendredi matin, puis le samedi au cours de la journée. Puis je vais justement avancer mon highlights. Puis gamer à Sackboy on the side. Je pense que c'est ça que je vais faire. That sounds like a good plan. Fait que... yeah, man. It was a good stream. Encore une fois, merci d'avoir fait partie de la discussion. Pis tout. Vous pouvez follower mes réseaux sociaux pour plus de doses de... I don't know, man. C'est quoi que je poste sur mes réseaux sociaux? Stupid shit, stupid tweets, stupid Instagram stories. Des impressions de jeux vidéo également. Je tweet ça des fois. Pas juste des dank memes. Si vous n'avez pas voté pour le Gauntlet, je vous rappelle que c'est la grande finale cette semaine entre The Legend of Zelda ainsi que Super Mario. Le gagnant, la série victorieuse en fait, va être mis en vedette tout au long de 2021. Je vais jouer à chaque jeu de la série. Fait que votez, vous pouvez voter par Straw Poll ou par le Twitter Poll. Puis si vous voulez voir le Twitter Poll, je vous recommande de suivre le Discord ou de faire partie du Discord. Parce qu'on a un channel dédié à tout ce qui est Gauntlet. Fait que vous avez tous les liens à un endroit spécifique. Pouh! Je plug pas assez mes affaires sur la chaîne. Ça en fait beaucoup de stuff à plugger. Fait que j'ai plugué Gauntlet, réseaux sociaux, Discord, puis également, parlant de Discord, de la question de la semaine qu'on va discuter demain. Si vous n'avez pas répondu à ça, now's the time, or forever hold your silence. Donc, merci encore une fois d'avoir été là. On se voit demain matin pour plus de streaming goodness. Entre-temps, allez enjoy some Age of Calamity chez Epic Joystick. Ou là, il y a du monde qui stream WoW Shadowlands aussi, j'ai vu, de la communauté québécoise. Bref, il y a more streams pour vous divertir. I've done my part. Merci d'avoir été là. Bye bye. The World Ends With You. J'ai deux affaires par rapport à ça. J'ai un jeu. On va commencer avec le jeu, mais après ça, on va poursuivre avec l'animé. Excusez. Neo The World Ends With You announced coming to Switch and PS4 in 2021. Pour ceux qui savent pas c'est quoi The World Ends With You, c'est un jeu qui est paru sur la DS